I'm Meg. I'm 20 years old. I'm currently a junior at Walsh University, and I graduated from Magnificat in 2015. I actually signed up for the bone marrow registry when I was at Meg's when I was a senior. They were there during lunch mods, and I just decided to sign up because I was 18 and I could. I thought it was kind of cool that potentially you could be called and be a match and save somebody's life, but I didn't think that I ever would actually get called. And 3 years later, I got a random call from Be the Match, and immediately, when they asked me if I still was interested in it, I was like, yeah, of course. So they went through the process of, after I confirmed that I was still interested, they said that they were gonna do some tests on me just to make sure I was physically healthy. I had to do some blood work and get a routine physical from my doctor just to make sure that I was healthy enough to give bone marrow to somebody. And then once they confirmed that I was going to be the match for this person, they were able to tell me a little bit about him. So he was between 8 months and 2 years old, a little boy. He wasn't from the United States, but he was diagnosed with, I might not be pronouncing this correctly, but acute myeloid leukemia. Once I knew that about him, I would have done it either way, but I'm really passionate about kids, and that just confirmed in my mind that this was something that I wanted to do. So I kind of went through the process. It was a lot of phone conversations with my representative from Be the Match. She's from Florida. Her name's Fran. She's so sweet. Then I started actually prepping for the surgery. So there's two different things that you can do. They will do one where they take the stem cells, which is when they put a needle in both of your arms, and basically it's kind of similar to getting your blood drawn over a longer period of time. And then the other option is that they actually do a procedure and go in the back of your pelvis. So that was the one that they said would be best for me to do, because I know normally when there's children who are really young, they do that procedure. But since he was so young, they knew that they weren't going to have to take a great deal of it, which was kind of reassuring to me, I guess. So once the procedure got closer, I went to a couple of appointments where I met with actually the surgeon who was going to be doing the procedure, and he walked me through it and told me basically exactly what they were going to do, which was really helpful because I'm not a big fan of needles. But my resolution through all of this was, this is a child who's probably in hospitals every day of his life. He's getting blood work done and having to deal with all of this terrible stuff that you should never be dealing with when you're 2 years old. And if I need to get pricked once or twice with a needle, I think I can handle that. So that was kind of how I got through getting the blood work taken and stuff. Everybody at the hospital made me feel so comfortable, and they made it very easy for me to say yes to it because I was so well informed. So they were able to kind of work with my schedule and figure out a time that worked best for me and best for the patient himself. So I went in and they got me set up in a hotel. They paid for all of my expenses. They paid for my food costs, for the hotel itself, and just very accommodating. They wanted to do everything possible to make sure I was comfortable in this experience. So I was going into the procedure, and it was a lot of just kind of routine stuff at first, just doing the last minute checkups, last minute blood work to make sure everything was okay, and then the day of the surgery itself actually came. So when I say surgery, what I mean by that is that they brought me into the hospital, into a sterile room. They put me under anesthesia, and so I didn't feel anything. I was completely out. I didn't know what was going on. All in all, it took about 30 minutes. They went in the back of my pelvis on both sides. And so if you put your hands on your hips, kind of where your thumb is, that's where they went in on both sides. And they took basically a syringe and went into my pelvic bone and syringe extracted the bone marrow. So it wasn't any kind of like cutting, there wasn't any like scalpel or knife involved. So actually it was funny because when they put the bandages on, they put like this huge bandage on my back, and I didn't know what to expect. I was expecting like this big like wound, but when I took the bandages off, it was like these two tiny little, like the size of a pinhead, like things, and I was like, oh my gosh, those are so small. That's all I had to do, like, and they healed so fast. It was so quick, and I was under anesthesia the whole time, so I didn't feel anything. I didn't see anything, so it was super easy. And I mean, I was definitely nervous. I think anybody would be nervous, but I really felt comfortable the entire time. And then when I came out, it was like I didn't know what happened. I didn't have any memory of the surgery itself. They put me in the recovery room for a couple of hours, and they hooked me up to an IV and made sure that everything was okay before they sent me back to the hotel. In terms of my recovery, it was honestly so much better than I thought it would be. It felt like I had worked out really hard, and you know, like after you work out your legs and you kind of are like wobbly because your legs feel like jello, like that's what it felt like on my back. Like I was sore, but I wasn't really in a lot of pain. And my procedure took place on a Thursday, and I was able to have the weekend off, and then I was back at work on Monday. So it was a really quick turnaround for me, and it definitely was better and much less painful than I expected. I feel like it's really scary when you think about it at first, but when you actually do it, it's like, oh, that wasn't that bad at all. So it's been about 3 months since I donated, and it honestly was one of the best experiences of my whole life. It was really rewarding for me to feel like I was making a difference in someone's life, even though I didn't know him, and it was something that I felt like was in my capacity to do with where I am in my life right now. I think it's Mother Teresa that talks about not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love, and I feel like this is something that you can do. It's not going to take a big amount of time out of your life. It's not going to be a big inconvenience for you. It's something that you will feel like you are making a difference, and I definitely would recommend signing up for the registry.